Welcome to Celestial Zodiac. If you're a Cancer rising, people may see you as warm, caring, intuitive, and emotionally perceptive, but there's far more happening beneath the surface. Cancer rising is one of the most sensitive and protective ascendants in the zodiac. You can walk into a room and immediately sense the mood, notice subtle changes in someone's behavior, or pick up on tension before anyone says a word. But while others may experience you as gentle and approachable, gaining your trust is another matter entirely. Your rising sign, also known as your ascendant, is the zodiac sign that was rising on the eastern horizon when you were born. It influences how you approach life, the first impression you make, and how you instinctively respond to new situations. While your sun sign represents your core identity and your moon sign describes your emotional inner world, your rising sign shapes how you move through life. For Cancer rising, this is especially significant because Cancer is ruled by the moon. Your mood, energy, and even the way you present yourself may shift depending on your surroundings and whether you feel emotionally safe. Themes of home, family, belonging, protection, and emotional security often play an important role in your life. In this video, we'll explore the Cancer rising personality, appearance, emotional nature, relationships, career, strengths and challenges, what it means to have the moon ruling your chart, and how Cancer rising differs from Cancer sun and Cancer moon. So if Cancer was rising when you were born, or you're trying to understand a Cancer rising in your life, stay with me because this placement is far more complex and powerful than the stereotype of simply being emotional. Cancer rising often gives off a warm, receptive, and emotionally aware presence. You tend to notice shifts in tone, body language, and atmosphere that others overlook, making you naturally skilled at reading a room. Before fully engaging with someone new, you're often observing first and deciding whether the situation feels trustworthy and safe. Others may see you as gentle, approachable, or nurturing, and people may open up to you surprisingly quickly. But Cancer rising is not nearly as defenseless as it appears. Like the crab, there is softness within and a protective shell around it. You can be friendly without being fully open and caring while keeping much of your private world hidden. Your personality may also change depending on your surroundings. With people you trust, you can be funny, affectionate, playful, and surprisingly outgoing. In tense or unfamiliar situations, you may become cautious and reserved. And although people sometimes underestimate Cancer rising, Cancer is a cardinal sign. Beneath the sensitivity is determination, resilience, and a powerful instinct to protect what matters most. Cancer rising is traditionally associated with a soft, receptive, and distinctly lunar physical presence. Of course, genetics, ancestry, age, lifestyle, and the rest of the birth chart all matter, but certain qualities are commonly associated with this ascendant. Expressive eyes are often mentioned, along with round or oval faces, fuller cheeks, softer features, or a youthful appearance. Even when those exact traits aren't present, there may still be a gentleness or emotional responsiveness in the face. Your mood may show in your expression before you've said a word. Cancer rising can also have a protective physical presence. When uncomfortable, you may instinctively pull inward or stay near familiar people. When you feel safe, your entire presence can change. Your posture relaxes, your face becomes more animated, and your playful side emerges. Because Cancer is ruled by the ever-changing moon, appearance and personal style may shift through different phases of life. Ultimately, the strongest Cancer rising signature may not be one specific feature, but the combination of softness, emotional responsiveness, and quiet self-protection. Cancer rising experiences life through a highly sensitive emotional radar. You may notice subtle changes in someone's tone or behavior before others do, and your body can register discomfort before your mind fully understands why. This can create powerful intuition, but it's important to distinguish genuine instinct from fear or old emotional conditioning. Your strongest defense mechanism is often retreat. When hurt or overwhelmed, you may become quiet, distant, or difficult to reach until you've had time to process what happened. You may also struggle with indirectness, hoping others will notice that something is wrong rather than clearly saying what hurt you. Memory plays a powerful role in your emotional life. You may remember not only what happened years ago but exactly how someone made you feel. This creates deep loyalty, but it can also make betrayal difficult to forget. When pushed too far, Cancer rising can develop a much harder exterior than people expect. You may tolerate a great deal, but once you decide a situation is emotionally unsafe, you can shut the door with surprising finality. Your greatest emotional growth comes from learning when your defenses are truly protecting you and when they're keeping you trapped in old patterns. At your best, sensitivity becomes emotional intelligence rather than emotional armor. Other people may see Cancer rising as calm, caring, approachable, and emotionally grounded, even when you're privately processing far more than they realize. You often create the impression that you're safe to talk to, which is why people may confide in you surprisingly quickly. Because of this, you can easily be placed in the role of caretaker, counselor, or emotional support system. But this can become draining if others begin treating your emotional availability as unlimited. At the same time, you may be difficult to truly know. Cancer rising can appear warm without revealing much about its own vulnerabilities. People may feel close to you without realizing how much of yourself you've kept protected. You can also be underestimated. A softer or less confrontational style may cause others to assume you lack toughness or ambition, but that can be a serious misreading. Beneath the receptive exterior is a cardinal sign with strong survival instincts and remarkable persistence. Ultimately, others often experience Cancer rising as warm yet private, gentle yet resilient, and approachable yet difficult to fully know. In love, Cancer rising rarely approaches connection casually. Emotional security is a deep need, and before fully opening your heart, you're often watching for consistency. Do their actions match their words? Can they be trusted when life becomes difficult? Attraction may happen quickly, but genuine trust usually takes time. Once secure, you can be deeply loyal, affectionate, and protective. You often show love through everyday acts of care, remembering small details, checking in, creating comfort, and making the people you love feel supported. With Capricorn on the descendant, Cancer rising may be drawn to partners who seem mature, responsible, ambitious, or emotionally steady. The challenge is that you can sometimes become attached to emotionally reserved people and hope patience will eventually make them open up. Learning the difference between someone who needs time and someone who simply cannot meet your emotional needs is important. At your best, you create relationships that feel like a refuge from the outside world. But healthy love requires reciprocity. You need someone who appreciates your care without taking it for granted and understands that the nurturer also needs to feel protected, supported, and chosen. Cancer rising may appear gentle or private personally, but career and public life can reveal a much more assertive side. With Aries traditionally associated with the top of the Cancer rising chart, there can be a strong drive toward independence, initiative, leadership, and creating your own path. You may do well in careers involving care, psychology, education, food, hospitality, real estate, history, public service, or any field where emotional intelligence matters. But Cancer rising is not limited to nurturing professions. Many are ambitious and highly determined, especially when their work provides security or allows them to protect the people who depend on them. You may struggle in cold, unstable, or highly political work environments because you're sensitive to atmosphere and interpersonal tension. You often perform best when you feel emotionally invested in what you're building and have some control over how you work. Publicly, people may underestimate your ambition because you don't always advertise it. But Cancer is a cardinal sign, and once you commit to a goal, persistence can become one of your greatest professional advantages. One of Cancer rising's greatest strengths is emotional intelligence. You often notice what others miss, remember meaningful details, and understand the emotional undercurrents of a situation. Loyalty, intuition, resilience, and protectiveness can make you a powerful friend, partner, leader, or advocate. You're also highly adaptable. Although Cancer is associated with home and familiarity, Moon rulership gives you an ability to respond to changing circumstances. You may bend without breaking, protect what matters, and rebuild after difficult periods with more strength than others expect. Your challenges often come from the same sensitivity that gives you your gifts. You may take things personally, hold on to the past, retreat instead of communicating directly, or remain in situations too long because of emotional attachment and shared history. Fear of rejection can sometimes make you defensive before a threat is actually present. The key lesson for Cancer rising is learning that sensitivity and strength are not opposites. Your greatest growth comes when you trust your intuition without letting fear control you, care for others without abandoning yourself, and protect your heart without closing it completely. If you're a Cancer rising, the moon is the ruler of your entire birth chart, making its placement especially important. The sign and house of your natal moon can reveal a great deal about how your Cancer rising energy actually expresses itself. For example, a Cancer rising with an Aries moon may be more direct, impulsive, and emotionally fiery, while one with a Capricorn moon may appear more controlled, private, and self-disciplined. This is one reason two Cancer risings can seem completely different from each other. Because the moon changes signs quickly and moves through cycles, Cancer rising can also experience life in noticeable emotional phases. Your energy, motivation, and need for connection may fluctuate more than you expect, and your environment can strongly affect how you function. Understanding your moon sign is therefore essential to understanding your Cancer ascendant. The rising sign describes how you approach life, but the moon, as your chart ruler, helps reveal what drives that approach and where your emotional compass is leading you. Cancer rising, Cancer sun, and Cancer moon all share Cancer themes: sensitivity, intuition, protection, memory, and emotional security, but they express those qualities in very different ways. A Cancer sun experiences Cancer as part of the core identity. This person is developing Cancer qualities through their sense of purpose, self-expression, and the person they're becoming. Caring, protecting, belonging, and creating emotional security may feel central to who they are. A Cancer moon experiences Cancer most strongly in the private emotional world. The moon is at home in Cancer, so feelings, memories, attachment, family bonds, and the need for emotional safety can be especially powerful. This person may not always appear sensitive outwardly, but internally, emotions can run very deep. A Cancer rising, however, approaches life through a Cancerian lens. You instinctively assess people and situations for safety, read the emotional atmosphere, and protect yourself until trust is established. Others may notice Cancer traits in you immediately, even if your sun and moon are in completely different signs. The simplest way to think about it is this: Cancer sun is who you are becoming, Cancer moon is how you feel and what you need emotionally, and Cancer rising is how you meet the world. And for Cancer rising, there's one more important difference. Because the moon rules your chart, your moon sign becomes a major key to understanding your entire personality and life direction. Cancer rising is a placement of sensitivity, intuition, protection, and quiet strength. You may move through the world with an emotional awareness that allows you to notice what others miss. But beneath your warm and receptive exterior is a powerful instinct to protect yourself and the people you love. Your greatest growth comes from learning that sensitivity doesn't have to mean vulnerability without boundaries. You can trust your intuition without letting fear control you, care deeply without carrying everyone else's emotional burdens, and protect your heart without closing yourself off from meaningful connection. And because the moon rules your chart, understanding your moon sign can reveal an even deeper layer of your Cancer rising personality. No two Cancer risings are exactly alike, and the rest of your birth chart will always shape how this energy is expressed. If you're a Cancer rising, let me know in the comments whether this description resonated with you, and tell me your moon sign too. I'd love to know how your chart ruler changes the way your Cancer Ascendant shows up in your life. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to Celestial Zodiac, and turn on notifications for more Zodiac personality profiles, horoscopes, and astrology forecasts. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.